So we've got Dean Weingarten.
Stephen Herrero is one of the more famous bear researchers. Put out an opinion in his first really popular book in which he said, so it's kind of puzzling why more people aren't killed by black bears. I mean, they're big and strong, and there's a lot of them, and they live close to people, most of them in the lower 48, but they only kill about one person a year. So why is that? And they said, well, it might be that the aggressive black bears are killed off during hunting season. If they're not afraid of people, they're probably going to get killed off by some hunter. And so we've probably selected black bears for the black bears that are cautious about coming close to humans.
Interesting.
Now, that was his speculation. I think it's correct. But this year, we have had 4, well, in the last year, not in 2025, but in the last 12 months, we've had 4 people killed by black bears in the United States. There was a woman in, I think it was November of last year, who was killed in her house in California by a black bear that broke in and killed her. And then there was a man in Florida where the black bear appears to have gone into his trailer and drug him out and killed him. And then there were 2 recently in Arkansas in September, only within 45 miles of each other. One was 72 years old and was mowing an area. I think he was on some kind of riding tractor of some kind. I'm not sure how big it was, but he appears to have been, he was attacked by a bear, and his, I think it was his son, was checking on him and saw the bear attacking him and drove the bear away. But his injuries were so severe that he died a couple of weeks later. And then the one recently was in a campground, and he had taken a picture of a bear. And we don't know for sure it's the same bear because they haven't done DNA analysis yet. And a bear attacked him and killed him. He was 60 years old. I don't know much about him other than he seems to have been a pretty successful insurance executive agent, and, guy's living in a 5,000 square foot house, and he's been married to the same woman for 35 years, and that kind of says success to me. But I want to find more about him, but he's only been dead a week. I don't want to try to intrude on his family. This is a horrible time for them. Father, husband, son, brother.
But he was outside doing what?
He was camping.
Oh, he was camping.
He was at a campground in Arkansas, and I should have the name, but I won't bother looking it up because I don't think it's that important. So that was 2. Arkansas had not had a bear attack in over 100 years. And 2 within a month, within 45 miles of each other this year.
And so your argument is, well, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that's your theory is that it's because at one time during the Great Frontier, let's say, that time period, bears became
they learned to be afraid of people because
they were afraid of us because if
they weren't afraid, they died.
Yeah.
And that was for grizzly bears too. And there's no question about it. And we reduced the number of black bears enormously. By 1900, the black bear population was probably about its lowest level in the United States, and grizzly bears were down to just a couple hundred, a few hundred by 1900. But then we learned and said, if we want these creatures around, we got to protect them somehow. So we declared national parks, declared hunting seasons, enforced them. And I think we went a little too far. We went so far as to now people are saying, well, why would you kill that bear? You only killed a person or 2. I mean, it wasn't the bear's fault. He was just doing what bears do. It was the person was walking from within 50 yards of the bear, even though he couldn't see the bear. It was a defensive attack by the bear. Well, the person didn't do anything to the bear. He was just there. That's Stephen Herrero's construction, is to call these defensive attacks. I think that's a misplaced use of the word because the human wasn't doing anything to the bear.
Right.
And grizzly bears have been known since Lewis and Clark times, and certainly before in some quarters, as being especially aggressive. And they are. but they learn to fear humans if enough of them get killed.
Got it. We're out of time. Have you ever hunted bear yourself?
Yeah, I think once, not successfully. A couple times, yeah. I hunted them up in Alaska once, but we didn't see hardly any. I never saw a bear.
For brown bear?
Didn't see any. No, we were
Didn't
black
matter.
bear. We could get the black bear. We had permits for black bear up
I
there.
see.
They're pretty easy to get. And then my brother, however, as the black bear population in northern Wisconsin has exploded. There's just a lot of bears up there now, and he's killed numerous bears. His daughter has killed bears. His son has killed bears. His friends, he goes on hunts with dogs for bears. He's been on many.
With what? What do they typically use?
Mostly with rifles.
Yeah.
But he's killed a couple with pistols because he had the pistol long and it's a wounded bear and you don't want it to harm the dog. So he runs up and shoots it, that kind of thing.
Is it possible to hunt bear with a bow?
Sure. And some people do. And you can kill bears.
You think that's pushing it?
You have to be much more selective in your shots.
Yeah.
Because if you stick an arrow into a bear's shoulder, it may not penetrate enough to reach the lungs. And
does that make them angry or?
Well, it probably doesn't. Mostly they're going to run off.
You think so?
And then very likely that wound, because of the arrow, is going to get infected and they may die eventually. So you have to be more careful about where you shoot on a bear because it's a bigger, tougher animal than a deer. Now, if you go after something like elk, you have to be even more careful because their bones are even tougher than bears. And so with archery, you just have to be very careful how you place your shots.
So as a bear expert.
Yeah, I'd say more of a gun expert, but I become bear defense expert.
In your travels, in your research, what advice would you give me if I'm out minding my business and a bear comes charging at me?
Well, if it comes charging at you, kill the bear. That's what I tell you. With a handgun. I'd say carry a handgun because long guns are cumbersome and awkward to carry.
Always have a handgun, preferably larger caliber than a 22.
Yeah.
22 is, if that's all you got.
If you're for black bears, probably anything 22 on up will work. But the standard stuff you'd use for self-defense is going to work on black
45, 9
millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're up in Alaska or someplace where you're worried, like Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, where brown bears, grizzly bears might be a problem, you might want to go to a little bigger, like a 10 millimeter or a 357 Magnum or a 44 Magnum or 41 Magnum. And you want bullets that penetrate. You don't want bullets that are designed to fragment and open up because they won't penetrate hard enough. And
so no hollow tip or anything like that.
You want solid for like a 9 or 10 millimeter full metal jacket bullet is fine. For the revolvers, hard cast bullets that are designed not to mushroom, and because you need to penetrate. And bears, you got to penetrate further than you do on a human. A human. We're much smaller than bears, and our rib cage is more exposed. Our skin is not as thick as a bear's. So I'd recommend that you use deep penetrating bullets. But the research shows that a lot of the time, just the report of the firearm is loud, and it'll deter bears, and they'll run away. Or if you just wound them with anything, they don't like to be hurt, and so that will often cause them to run off. So you don't always have to be super precise and drop them right there, although that works too.
It sounds like in the fall, if it's like the thick of, hey, we got to get fattened up for winter, and they're still pursuing you, even the loud noise of a firearm might not deter them, and you're going to want to penetrate.
If they get close to you and they're staring at you, that's a sign that they're serious. I would kill them right there. You can be a little more careful with the brown bears if you want to.
Why? What? Careful, like what?
Well, because there's more legal consequences for the brown.
Okay.
Bear. Brown bears are considered threatened. If you kill one in self-defense, you're supposed to report it to the authorities. They will investigate and see if you were justified. The legal standard is reasonable. It's not quite as strong as it is for humans. It's essentially, if you believed that you were in danger,
imminent danger,
you
in fear of your life.
You can, and you don't have to prove it to his highest standard for bears.
Okay, that's good.
So, and there's an article on AmmoLand all about that if you want to read it.
That you wrote.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Because of that court case I told you about where the guy shot the 3 bears,
Mm-hmm.
and it went to the Ninth Circuit, to appellate court, and the appellate court said, well, it's clear this guy was in fear of his life and feared for his children and his family because he told the responding game warden that, which the prosecutor conveniently did not tell us or the court, and claimed that he wasn't in fear of his life. So we believe that he was justified. So
good. So the Ninth Circuit
try the case again with that in mind, and then they dismissed the charges.
Very good. Yeah, so it never went up to the Supreme Court. That's good.
Right. And it went to the Ninth Circuit twice. Yeah, the first one they sent it back. They said, take this into consideration. They took the stuff, and then they made another finding that said, yeah, but we still want to prosecute this guy.
Yeah.
So then he appealed it back to the Ninth Circuit again, and the Ninth Circuit sent it back to him again. Look, we think you should look closely at this and consider whether your judgment is maybe. You don't want it to be biased by the fact that you've already tried this case before.
Yeah.
And that time the prosecutor took the hint and said, we're not going to prosecute him again.
Oh my gosh, that prosecutor.
Well, it was the judge too. There was a magistrate judge that originally heard the case, and then there was a district judge for Montana. It's a fascinating case. I've got, you can read the article if you want it.
Yeah, I'm fascinated, or I'm interested in it. I know you're regularly on Russ Clark's show.
Yeah,
Wednesdays, correct?
I co-host with him on Wednesdays, and sometimes when
you talk more about politics rather than bears.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the politics probably more than bears. I hardly ever talk about bears on Russ Clark's show, and
Russ doesn't care.
But I do talk about the Second Amendment, what's going on, because that's part of what I do, and I regularly write about the Second Amendment cases and what is happening in the courts, and we talk about that a fair amount. And then we talk about almost anything that interests us.
Just really quickly, this is a talk. If I get into this can of worms, I mean, we could keep talking for another hour. However.
Sure. How many hours do you want to do?
I am curious of your general take on the Second Amendment and our regulation of it using the Gun Control Act and restricting our ability to get, the common person to get a grenade or a rocket launcher or a machine gun.
What the court has been pretty consistent.
I know what the legal standing is. I want to know your opinion. Is that do you believe what the founders set forth as?
I think they wanted to protect the arms that were useful for militia. However, there is a standard that's been developed called the common use. Uh-huh. By the time of the Revolution, grenades were no longer in common use. I mean, the reason was because people found, even though they had whole grenade companies like the Grenadiers in the 1600s, what they found is they're really dangerous to everybody, and they had as many friendly casualties as they had other casualties. Mm-hmm. I have a fragment of a 16th century hand grenade that I found down in Panama. And they used those in that time period, but eventually they stopped because they were too unreliable that you could, you had to light the fuse and then you had to throw it, and the fragmentation wasn't all that great.
But do you think the founders knew about that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they did, because they didn't. It doesn't appear that they used much in the way of grenades in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, because the Second Amendment doesn't say, except for...
No. I think the Second Amendment was meant to protect common military arms at the time, and that you could have cannons, you could...
Machine guns?
They didn't have machine guns back then, but...
They had one.
They had the equivalent.
Yeah.
They had multi-barreled guns, and they had, blunderbusses, and they certainly knew how to set up explosives as mines. So they meant for people to be armed, but most of the people they expected to be armed with They're ordinary military equipment.
Uh-huh.
So
Can I be armed with military equipment today?
yeah, you can, but it costs you $200 tax to get a grenade. You
Uh-huh.
know, so it's expensive, and you have to go through a lot of paperwork. I think
But I can't have a machine gun. I can't have an M4.
well, actually, you can have a machine gun. It's just you got to pay an enormous amount of money, and I think that restriction's going to go away.
Well, the machine gun I get has to be an antique machine gun.
Well, it has to be made before 1986.
Well, antique, yeah, that's what they call antique.
And no, that's not technically an antique, but what it was that in 1986, when they were passing, let's see, the Firearms Owner Protection Act, I think, and that corrected some of the abuses from the Gun Control Act of 1968. They put in a rider in there. It was an amendment that you can watch it being put in online now. I've seen it, and somebody said we're doing away, or we're suspending the rules, parliamentary procedure. And the person who was up there, who was a big gun control guy, I'm trying to think of his name, said, "Do I have a motion for this?" And somebody said, "Yes, motion recognized. A vote by voice vote." And so I said, no, we got to have recorded vote. And he just ignores them. He says, "All those in favor say aye," and then you hear a couple of ayes. And all those against, nay, and you hear a big chorus of nays. The ayes have it, and they passed this amendment that banned further manufacture of machine guns to be sold to ordinary citizens of the United States. And there's a couple little loopholes in there. Like if you're a dealer, you can get new machine guns. And
so is that constitutional?
No, I don't think it is. I think that will be overridden, but it's going to take a while because there's so many other issues that are working their way up through the courts.
So it sounds to me like if I understand what your viewpoint is, such that you're saying the founders intended to fight force with force, in a sense.
Yeah, no question.
If the British had it, you can have it.
Pretty much.
Okay. If our military has it, you can have it.
It's pretty much, but there.
What do you mean pretty much? I don't see any.
It's because there were some regulations at the time. There were laws in force at the time that persisted after
the Constitution.
Yes, after the after Second Amendment was adopted in 1791. It reads, "The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." So what the courts have done, and I agree with this, I think it's the way you have to do it. They're relying on what they call originalism.
Yeah.
And they said, what did the right to keep and bear arms mean in 1791?
Yeah.
And so they said, look, if you can find a tradition where the right was limited on a relatively wide basis, like, for example, you're not allowed to just, because you have the right to bear arms, doesn't mean you can just go around killing people with a handgun.
Right.
And that was understood at the time.
Well, that's murder. Yeah.
Yeah. But so what they found was that there was a reasonable tradition that you couldn't carry arms around that would just terrify ordinary people. And there was, it said, if you carry guns around and it's to terrify the population, we're going to fine you or imprison you or whatever. It's against the law.
Yeah.
So, and they
it sounds to me like that's threats. Like
it's kind of it, but
better this or
it was, they said if you use dangerous and unusual weapons. So if it was common, people would carry around a rifle or a shotgun or a pistol. Well, at that time,
like Wyatt Earp,
they didn't quite have them then at that time.
I'm just saying in the future.
Yeah, I would say you could make the case that if somebody was constantly parading a cannon and a wagon behind them as they went around town, they might say, you're terrifying the people. Cannons are not common, and they might have restricted them. So I think that is being worked out in the courts, just what the boundaries are, and they're using the proper standard for that, which is what existed at the time when the Second Amendment was ratified.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And for example, they restricted people often from having weapons in legislative chambers when they were in session.
Welcome, Justin. We've got Justin Haile on the show again. This is your second time, I believe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Back by popular request. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to highlight this last, yet another thing you're involved in. This is called the Hansen House.
Yes.
And the Hansen House, I hadn't heard about it. You brought in some of this stuff this morning and told me a little bit about it. And this kind of touches what I do on a daily basis because we deal with a lot of individuals that need stuff just like this. For example, yesterday I met with a family that was looking for a place for their mother because she's in decline. Her mental faculties have not yet gone, but physically she can't wash herself. She can't make meals for herself. And so a lot of those things come down to finances when it comes to looking for care. And the question becomes, will Medicaid cover this? And so we're looking for ways for what's called All-Tex, Arizona Long-Term Care System. And that typically will cover long-term care expenses at a nursing home or an assisted living facility. Tell me a little bit about Hansen House. How does this work and who are candidates for it?
So the Hansen House has been open for about 1.5 years in Yuma. I've been on the board. I'm on the board. I'm the treasurer. And I was brought on by a good friend of mine who started it named Bonnie Her husband used to be the fire chief, and she actually was a nurse. She was actually a firefighter, became a nurse, and then she worked for hospice and did that for 15 years or so. And she actually is very young, and she retired mainly to do this. She said this was her calling in life. And so she does this all for free. And what the Hansen House does is has people, be able to come there and they get to spend the last moments of their life and die with dignity. And their family isn't there crushing themselves, staying up 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then they don't get to spend those last moments with their family, and loving them. What they do is if they want to help, they can. If they don't, we have caretakers there 24 hours a day taking care of them. But people who can't afford it, it's completely free. You don't pay anything.
So this is a house. It's a physical house. A home. That has how many residents?
It's 3 rooms.
3 rooms, okay.
And in the last 1.5 years, we just had our board meeting last Saturday. The last 1.5 years, we've had 100 people come in and pass there. And a third of them have paid no money.
Wow.
It was completely free for their family. So they were able to come there and spend those last moments, if it was a week or if it was a month, until they pass. But we've had people from the age of 32 up to 102 pass away there.
Oh my gosh.
But it's really special. I mean, it's the only place in the state of Arizona that's like this where it's free. And then the charge too, if someone can't afford it, it's only about $88 a day, which most places, if you call hospice for care to come over, it's usually $27 to $30 an hour. Mm-hmm. And we charge $88 a day. So, the price of what you're able to do is just unbelievable, even if someone can't afford it. But they get a beautiful home. It's got a kitchen. It's got a living room. The family can hang out as long as they want to stay there. They can go home at night and actually get some sleep, and then come back and enjoy the next 8-10 hours that they want to spend with their loved one. So you're not just destroying yourself for 20, like I was saying, 24 hours a day trying to take care of your loved one.
So an individual, let's say they go to the hospital, and then the hospital does all that they can, and they get to the point where we can't do anything else. You've got to be discharged somewhere to hospice or to this Hansen House. So they have a place to go, but they're in the last portion of their life. So they're going to pass away.
Yes.
That's the final, they're terminal. And so the family can get a hold of the Hansen House and see if there's any beds available.
Exactly.
Okay. And if there's a bed available, then they look at finance options. And if they're a candidate, then the funds from the Hansen House Foundation or their charity arm is going to cover the expenses for that individual.
We do lots of events like the one I gave you today is our yearly banquet.
This is November 21st. So November 21st. So about a month and a half away.
So last year I think we brought in 41,000 that night at our banquet.
That's fantastic.
All that does is it goes back to helping people at end of life, and it helps pay for their, because what we do is obviously we're paying these caretakers to be there 24 hours a day, and we're paying for the supplies and everything needed. We just bought all new beds for the place. So things like that. And, it's just, it's pretty special. I mean, it's pretty neat when you can, I had a couple people in my family die a couple years ago in 1 year. And when you go through that and you see how rough it is on the family, taking care of that loved one.
Yeah.
And then you see how special it is when they go to the Hansen house. It's pretty tremendous to see the difference.
Does
awesome.
Bonnie hang out there? I mean, is she coming and going?
She's there nonstop actually, because if any of these caretakers call in, Bonnie's the one that goes in and handles the place, the home. So honestly, she kind of like I created myself a job with my charity. Bonnie has created herself a job. And I think she knew that going into it. That's why she retired from her normal job.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, same thing. She donates her time 100%. There's in our charity, no money gets paid to anybody. So, but the caretakers, the people that are actually working there.
Mm-hmm.
So Bonnie donates her time for this. And, but the story is tremendous. You know, I think the website's thehansenhouse.org if anybody wants to see it. But then I gave you that flyer too. So you can look at it.
So November 21st, this is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is a dinner.
It's a dinner at the Human Living Center. The Human Living Center donates the hall for us. They donate the food and the alcohol.
Where's the Human Living?
The one that's right next to McDonald's on 4th Avenue.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Like on, I think, what is that, like 17th or so?
Yep.
Right there.
Was that a hotel?
It used to be a hotel like long time ago.
Yeah.
And so this is I think it's our 4th annual. And they've donated it every year. So it's really cool because 100% of the money goes back to the home for people,
very
people
cool.
at end of life.
Yeah. So you can contact Steve if you want tickets to this. His number is 928-502-9755. And it's $50 a ticket.
$50 a ticket. And we only have space for 130 people.
Oh, really?
So we only sell 130.
You're limited. Yeah.
Yeah, we're limited. We've talked about, moving maybe next year to a bigger facility. Mm-hmm. But when we do that, then we're going to have to up the price of the ticket because we're going to have to start paying for the food, paying for the alcohol, paying for things like that, which right now we don't.
Oh, you don't? So they cover all that. That's really generous.
The Human Living Center pays
That's super generous.
For everything. Yeah.
Or you can sponsor. It looks like you've got some sponsorship options here too. Mm-hmm.
We do that. And we also do silent auction prizes. So like I donate like a $500 gift card to my medical spa. I donate a year's membership to the gym. I buy tickets for a lot of my friends too, that we go. So it's just, I think we usually have around 35 silent auction prizes, and all that money goes back to
I forgot about the medical spa.
Yeah.
What's the name of the spa?
Elite Med Spa Wellness.
Where is that at?
It's in the Tuscany Plaza Center on Avenue B down there. Yeah.
So, what's going on there?
So I do it's a medical spa wellness. So we do Botox, filler, laser hair
removal.
And, yeah, all that kind of stuff. And then we also do the wellness side, which is hormone therapy, medical weight loss. And then also inside there, my wife has a 3D 4D ultrasound clinic. It's called Madres. But we actually, next week, we started the Elite ultrasound. So we're going to be doing diagnostic scans now.
Okay. So instead of going to, what is that one?
You can, instead of going to Onvita or going to Simon Med,
that's the one I was thinking of.
So ours will be,
competitor.
Ours will be cash pay. It's $180 for any scan. Cash pay, and you have guaranteed 24-hour results.
Is that a good price compared to?
Yeah, I did some research in say like a thyroid for Simon Med was $160.
Okay.
Their prices go from $160 to $220.
Probably with insurance.
That's cash pay.
That's cash pay. Okay.
And then like say on Vita, I think a thyroid was $740. So you have $160 or $740.
Wow.
For cash pay.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is, we're just going to make it simple at one price. We're going to go in the middle, $180 for any scan.
That's super cool.
But then the cool thing with ours is you have a guaranteed 24-hour results. So within 24 hours, your doctor will have the results.
Wow.
So the radiologist company that we hired, they work 24 hours a day.
Wow.
So.
And it's all digital, so you could probably pull it up or something online.
Everything goes instant. Yeah, in the portal, from our machine to our computer to the radiologist, and then from there to the doctor.
Very, very cool.
So, but that starts in about a week.
What motivated you to do that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, my wife was an ultrasound tech for.
She was
for 10 years.
So she knows it. She knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing, and she's
been frustrated, I'm sure.
Yeah, she left the hospital after baby number 2, and then I started the medical spa and then we added the 3D 4D. But the one thing that she's always missed is doing diagnostic scanning. She misses what she used to do, and so she was just like, I'm gonna get back into this. And I said, well, we have the machine. We have the same machine the hospital has. We have the room, we have the building.
Yeah.
I said, we have everything. All you need to do is we just need to hire the radiologist to read the images.
Mm-hmm.
So we found a great company that does it in 24 hours. And so now she'll be able to, start scan it again.
What's the difference between a 3D and 4D image?
A 3D 4D is just, that's where you can go get pictures of your baby and they look
Like
real.
an alien?
Yeah, they look real. Yeah, like an alien. Well, if it's early,
Like
she says you want to get scanned about 30 weeks because the baby's a little chunky.
Okay.
But if you come in like 27, 26, they're going to look more like an alien because they're so skinny.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really cool. I mean, she gets some tremendous pictures on that 3D 4D, and then they get videos. We have teddy bears where she'll get your baby's heartbeat and record them and then she'll put the heartbeat in the teddy bear.
No way.
So
like Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, we have, military bears. We have all kinds of different little, animals and stuff.
That's awesome.
So
I didn't know that existed.
Then we do the fire extinguishers that do the gender reveals.
Oh, really?
We have those there. We have all kinds of cool stuff.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now I'm done with kids, so it's not even, dang, man. Where were you when I was having my kids?
So it's cool, but I'm excited for her. She's always missed. She spent a lot of time going to school for ultrasound. So, and obviously we're busy with our kids. So she'll do a day or two a week. Then we'll have some other, ultrasound techs coming in there and working the other days.
Very, very cool.
But I think it's really going to be cool being able to offer people 24-hour results.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that's revolutionary here in our community, at least.
Big
Very
time.
cool. Man, you're doing so much. I really appreciate you taking time again to come in and talk about all these ventures that you've got your hand in.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if you guys just recap, you've got the haunted house.
Yeah, the most important things right now is the truck raffle going on. I'll be at the games every Friday night in October. We have the haunted house starting on the 10th. Okay. So the haunted house is going to be out there. Go out there. I think it's 3 weeks long. Mm-hmm. And all the money goes to our charity.
And then November, you've got the Hansen House banquet. I think that was the 22nd. Is that what I saw?
Yes.
21st.
21st.
Friday the 21st for the Hansen House banquet. That's at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. For the Hansen House charity. And then you're doing the raffle.
The truck raffle, the Christmas night, we'll cut off ticket sales. And then on the 27th is when I'll pick the winner.
Very awesome.
So someone will win a brand new truck. One school's going to get $5,000 extra in funding, and one kid will get a free year's membership to the gym.
I love it.
So
very cool.
Lots of good stuff.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. I'd like to say welcome back to Life, Death, and the Law. I'm going to follow Martine's script, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to highlight our returning guest, Mr. Chris Thompson. What's your favorite guilty pleasures?
Ooh.
Snack. Sorry, snack.
Okay.
You got to be specific.
Here's me. I like. Man, I'm gonna sound like such a girl on this, but I like a dirty Diet Coke. Where you,
yeah.
Yeah. Where you put in the creamer, the coconut creamer.
Really?
You
Yeah.
put in, yeah.
I had no
Welcome
idea.
to
Out
the
of every-
Twisted Sugar
I thought
world.
I knew you.
I know.
That's
That's what I
crazy.
said.
I'm
I
opening a
only do it
business
after
that-
11 o'clock
No.
at night. I take a look down the street. Is anybody going to come into my
I'm
house? No?
opening a business
And
where
then
the central feature is
A dirty
sodas.
Yeah.
So,
That's
they're delicious.
That's mine. What's
Why? 'Cause
yours?
you
I'm on
feel-
board
it's
100%.
just like you feel a little dirty.
Well, I feel a little girly.
Yeah.
But not dirty.
I've always loved Reese's, but I have Reese's has recently been surpassed for me by the Bueno.
Bueno's pretty good.
Bueno's pretty good. It's lighter,
Know it.
crispier, and going back to our whole image thing, they're like individually wrapped in this cellophane that has a little gold pull string thing on it. They just feel more,
They have a candy bar
a
version.
little more elegant. Yeah. No, I like the Bueno sticks.
That's individually wrapped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh yeah.
I know
Circle
big
K,
Reese's Pieces
the grocery store.
Yeah,
look for it.
they're tasty.
I don't
Pick up a
frequent those
Bueno.
places.
Not the egg one. It's like in a little plastic egg and comes with a toy. These are like kind of like Twix
Yeah.
is probably the closest
Bueno?
shape to them.
Uh-huh.
Bueno. It's a white package with orange rice.
It's a really light wafer with some whipped peanut butter cream inside.
And
Sounds
chocolate.
right up my
And
alley. I love that.
It's delicate and light,
Okay.
indulgent.
What's yours, Adam?
My brother introduced me to, speaking of peanut butter, a good like French vanilla ice cream works. Any ice cream really works, but I like the French vanilla with a scoop of peanut butter, and you mix that.
Oh.
And if you want a little extra pizzazz, you'd put a little bit of Nesquik sprinkled on there.
Really?
You know what? I do like that. The powder, just the
Just like pop.
Yeah, cocoa powder.
We would do that because
Not cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is bitter.
Nesquik has like sugar in it.
Yeah.
It's like a milk chocolate.
it's a nostalgic thing for me because growing up, the syrup was kind of higher end, more expensive, but we'd have these little cocoa packs. And we'd sprinkle that on our ice cream. And so for me, it's kind of like bread and milk. That's my comfort food. And it brings back, the warm fuzzies, and that's what I think of.
That must be a Northwest thing because my dad is in the bread and milk.
Really?
Rice pudding.
Yeah,
kind of
I
things.
love rice pudding. Yeah.
Rachel's dad is big into that.
he
Like
from
his
the north?
favorite is like
Oregon?
milk toast. Like
Yes,
yeah, he'll do that.
Sloppy
that's
mess.
me.
Yeah,
It's the bread that's basically gone a little crusty.
yeah.
And you-
Stale bread or something, or you can toast
Crumble
it,
it
make
up.
it dry.
And you throw it in there.
Yeah.
And my wife, I purposely leave the bread out because I want it to get that way. And she's like, "Who left the bread out again?" And it can only be homemade bread. It can't be store-bought bread.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing that you'd banish forever, Chris? I think we know what you banish.
Rocks, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Out.
I think there ought to be some limitation on the spandex that are worn in public. I think there's too much of that in public, and it's
Like women?
Men or women.
I haven't seen many men.
I haven't seen too many men wearing spandex.
You're saying, okay, like, what do you call that? Active wear?
Activewear.
Activewear out in
Where they
public.
Actively
where
in
they
the process of
purposely,
maybe
like,
going to work out.
contour to the crevice of your rear. And
They actually make them where they actually shade them. So it gives you curves where you might not have curves. Like
Yes.
it appears that way.
yeah, it's
Like
got a little.
contouring with makeup where women
Yeah,
will make
yeah.
their nose look narrower or something.
Oh,
by
and I bet
shading
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if they put a little more like elasticity
Yeah,
under
absolutely.
the
Yep.
right cheeks to kind of give it a Brazilian butt lift.
Now I have some socks like that, and they're fantastic. Where they're tighter at the arch. than
Oh
they are
yeah,
at the
those
toe.
are the best. Yeah, I do that.
Super great. So
But-
yeah, makes
But
sense. They
some
would
of those
advance that to
spandex
the legs.
pants where they contour direct, like to every, aspect
Nook and
of the
cranny.
butt cheek. Yeah, I think there should be some limitation on that.
That's a restriction of people's rights.
Yeah, I don't know though.
But you could make an argument that's infringing on your rights because you're having to look at it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm to me that's offensive.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
Your 3 pillars rule applies there.
One thing I would banish I don't really.
Nothing?
I can't think of anything right now, anything that I hate.
There's nothing that you would banish.
I can speak to recently having gone on a plane and it advertises Wi-Fi available and there's no Wi-Fi for 2.5 hours.
And it's super slow when you do get it.
Well, it's just not there. And
I don't want it.
And I think to myself, I know it's just a switch. I'm pretty sure it's just you just flip a switch, and surely you know that. Like, just flip the switch, right? No, I got to sit here and raw dog it for 2.5 hours.
I like that I will not get it, and I'll pretend that the plane doesn't have it. Because I love being completely disconnected for those 2 to 8 hours or whatever.
You don't have something
do you do?
downloaded?
No, yeah, I download it. I don't want to be contacted.
Disconnected,
Well, no, but I don't want to be contacted or be able to make contact.
Oh, okay.
I love that you're untethered.
Oh, I'm good at that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a lifestyle.
I know. But when they started saying like, oh, free Wi-Fi, I was like, no.
That was your excuse.
Yeah, so I make the choice to ignore that.
Okay.
I
The other
do
thing
that
that
all the
I
time.
hate is the no smoking dialogue or monologue that they tell you on the plane, and that tampering with the smoking devices on
as
the
a
plane.
federal offense.
Can we get rid of that? I mean, think how many minutes every flight
Yeah,
would
like
be
is that
saved.
happening?
They're doing everything to maximize the economy of the flight, yet they spend 5 minutes telling you that you can't disable a smoking sensor in the bathroom.
The bigger problem now is probably vape, right?
Well,
People are vaping in the bathroom.
but and the smoking
that's
devices.
I've been next to somebody that vaped and they would just blow it into their blanket.
Yeah, but the smoking device isn't going to pick that up, right?
Right.
But they still tell you cannot disable the smoking device in the bathroom. Like, can we move on past that?
Like who's doing that?
Exactly.
I bet
So-
you that's an FAA rule though that they have to do.
Well,
So get rid of the FAA.
should be gone.
Okay, something you'd love to try next. For example, an adventure, food, or hobby. I mean, Chris, you've done it all.
Man, what is left? No.
Thailand?
Something I'd love to try next. Do you guys have one? I need a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to try scuba diving. I think you guys have
there you
sold
go.
me on that. So
It's great. Anytime
go.
you want to go, let's
Let's go right now.
Yeah, we'll call up Scuba Shawn, and the two Shawns can go. You can learn how to do that.
I want to do.
Instructor here.
I want to do
Shawn
lobster
Foster.
diving.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I've always wanted to scuba.
He's in my phone as Scuba Shawn.
Nice.
I've always wanted to lobster dive at night. Scuba diving.
If only you knew somebody. Well, now that I know that, I'll reach out to you, and now you're certified.
Yeah. Well, now I don't want to go.
Okay.
I don't want to be a pity invite.
Oh, there you go.
I want to feel needed.
Um,
But it's too late.
yeah, I have a new adventure I'm looking forward to. Is going hunting for the first time. I've never
Oh,
been
really?
hunting.
Okay.
Never been hunting, and my wife pulled a elk tag for November, so we're gonna get to go.
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be
Always give it to
there.
the women like
Yeah, I'll be there filming and rooting her, cheering her on.
filming.
But yeah, we better get one, otherwise it's a real expensive hiking trip.
Mhm.
Really, yeah.
Why? So you pay for the tag?
Well, I've never been, so I have no gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of course I have to gear up. It's
Yeah.
cold, but it's Arizona cold, so the guide was like, yeah, it could be 80 degrees, it could be 50 or 40 degrees. We don't know. So bring layers.
Pairs.
So, okay.
Oh, you
have you
having a
bought
guide?
hunting gear? Expensive. It's
Like hunting
Viore
gear, like-
of,
What do you mean hunting gear?
well, like,
You mean the Cabela's?
yeah, all just
Oh,
the
camo.
jackets and the, the different,
Boots.
yeah, the boots and you got to have special socks and you got to have layers, and this one's breathable and this one's waterproof, and then you got to buy a rain layer, and
I
it's
didn't
all
know this.
expensive. Binoculars, super expensive.
What about like
Get the
trap-
gun sighted in, all of that stuff. The guide is
Calls.
expensive. The guide will do that. I haven't gotten into calls, but
Do you travel with a lot of luggage? You strike me as a person that if you can get a carry-on backpack and multiple check baggage, you would do that. Is that you?
I've recently moved to checked baggage. For a long time, I was like, just carry on only, just carry on
I
only.
like that? Yeah.
And now I've moved. I've evolved.
Yeah.
I would say to checked bag.
Okay.
I'm all about the check
Let
bag.
them deal with it.
I don't want to carry anything.
I don't want to walk around the airport with it. So I go to the counter. I check. It's a smaller checked bag. It's a little bigger than a carry-on, but not some big, some big giant,
I've been raw dogging it before raw dogging became a thing. I don't want anything to be carrying around.
Yeah.
My phone, I'll listen to something, and I can listen to books for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll watch a movie from time to time, but I mainly listen to books. And so when I go into the airport, I think I'm autistic. I'm certainly on the spectrum. And so a lot of noise and a lot of commotion really kind of gets me rattled. So I'll put those noise canceling headphones on as soon as I get through TSA. And I've got a hat and literally sunglasses on. I don't want anybody talking to me or bothering me. I go straight to my seat. I don't want to put anything away or be messing with things. And I'll just
Put
sit
on
there
your
and listen.
Unabomber costume and just leave
Yeah.
me alone.
Well, that's all the time we have. Let's see. Outro. Thank Chris for joining.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Plug where listeners can find more episodes. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or right
I
here
thought Apple Podcasts
on
was
568
done.
KBLU.
I thought Apple Podcasts was no more.
I don't know.
You know what? No, it's on there. It's
Is
on
it?
there. It shows up.
All right.
It shows up.
Anywhere you get your podcasts, you can listen to our show. You're going to look for Life, Death, and the Law with an ampersand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Preview next week's topic, if known. Do you know what next week's guest and topic are?
No, I didn't read that because we didn't know. But
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to embarrass ourselves, but thank you for doing that.
You bet.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Anytime.
We like to wing it. That's the way we run this show, obviously.
I like it.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.